They are missing.
They're missing?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What happened to ahimsa? Oh my. Loving kindness monk goes on rampage.
Okay, we are going to start meditation. So please find a comfortable posture. Keep your back straight. Beautiful evening. Nice day outside. We all are in this nature. In this beautiful place. Think to yourself, we all have beautiful opportunities. Even world is difficult right now for all of us, all the challenges. Even we are going through these difficulties, you all made this decision to come to meditation this evening. That means you appreciate this practice. You want to understand yourself, how you feel, your mind, your emotions, your feelings, how your mind works. Having those good intentions in your mind, let's do our meditation. Take few deep long breaths and relax your whole body. Please do it few times. Experience relaxation and peace. Feel harmony with your body. Feel close to yourself. Now send your loving thoughts towards yourself, thinking, I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. Somebody asked me a question recently when we are practicing loving kindness. How many times, how many days do we have to repeat these words? My answer was forever. Because loving kindness practice, endless practice, unconditional practice. Therefore, don't put this loving kindness practice to those conditions. Just having that intention, keep doing it. Build your energy in your mind. When we are using those words, we are setting our intention. When you set your intention, that intention, little by little, day by day, what you are doing, putting into an action, that's how loving kindness will progress in your spiritual journey. I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. Now send your loving thoughts towards your family. May all of my family members be well, be happy, be peaceful. Think of them individually. Maybe they are next to you. My children, my mother, my father, my brothers and sisters. Maybe you don't have a deeper connection with them. Sometimes people are angry with their family members. But this is the good time for you to consider how you think, how you understand, how you feel. Ask yourself a question. Do I really want to change them or change myself? I know you have some emotional connection to them. Therefore, you cannot let them to go. Same time you are angry with them. In this lifetime, they become our family members. The way you are looking at other people, is it possible for you to looking at your family members like normal human beings, not with your emotional connection to them? Instead of anger, hatred towards them, how about sending your loving thoughts towards them? Is it possible for you to forgive them? What is forgiveness? Forgiveness is completely letting go without reservation. Is it possible for you to understand that truth and let go? May all of my family members be well, be happy, be peaceful. We all are brothers and sisters in one large family. Now send your loving thoughts towards whole world. May all living beings be well, be happy, be peaceful. Different people, different parts of the world, different countries. Lots of people are in fear, anxiety. They are sad. Some people are mad. Some people are dying. Some people are in pain. Some people are in starving. Children are dying without food, without water, without medicine. There are so much pain in this world. What I am suggesting you all, understanding the true nature of life, what is happening in the world, you can observe it, you can feel it, then learn to how to appreciate all the good opportunities you have. You have place to live, you have job to survive, you are making some money, you have food to eat, you have water. Even we have all these challenges in life, still we are safe, still we are protected, still we are fine. But there are so many people in this world, they don't have those basic necessities. So appreciating what you have, bring your loving awareness for the world and make your intention for them. May they be well, may they be happy, may they be peaceful. Sometimes you want to serve for the whole world, but remember, world is too big for you to focus. But do whatever you can. May all living beings be well, be happy, be peaceful. Having loving motivation towards yourself and others, now slowly turn your attention to the subtle sensation of the breath. Every breath you take in, you take out, is taken mindfully. Why breath? Breath is life. We call life-giving breath. When you are focusing on your breath, you are calming down your mind. You are relaxing your body. When you have a calm mind, relaxed body, then you can see things as they are. You have more patience, more wisdom. That's the one purpose of focusing on the breath. When we have distracted breath, we have fear, anger, frustration. Now all the Western doctors, when you go to the hospital or therapists, psychologists, they always suggesting you all have to practice meditation. I get so many patients from hospital, doctors sent to the temple. They all need peace. They all need mindfulness. That's why you all are so fortunate. You have this practice here in this neighborhood. You have this support. You have this noble friendship. You can meditate even few days with like-minded people in this community. If you are distracted by a thought or a feeling or a sensation, bring your attention back to the breath or present moment. Mind wanders, that's the nature of the mind. Don't try to control it. Let it be. No need to repress your thoughts. Don't try to control them. Welcome them. Be gentle with them. Don't go against to them. Accepting them, respecting them, then slowly and mindfully let them to go. Again and again, each time, if you are distracted, bring your attention back to the breath or present moment. Where's your mind? Is it wandering? If it is wandering, nothing to worry. That means your mind is working. If you can be aware about your wandering mind, what mind does, where your mind is going, what kind of interaction, what kind of places your mind stop, that means you are letting be, let it be, without making rules to your mind or controlling your mind. Let it be. But you can be an observer, what he is doing. While you are observing your mind going to a wrong place, wrong ideas, wrong thoughts. What is wrong? It is harming to you, it is harming to somebody else. Then don't let it happen. Then you can bring your mind back to this present moment. Keep your mind in a wholesome thought, like loving kindness. Whatever wholesome thoughts come to your mind, stay focused on that wholesome thought. Let it grow in your mind, that thought. Whatever distraction you have in your mind, the best thing you can do, find the opposite thought. If you are angry, find a thought of loving kindness, then try to grow that thought in your mind. Then try to live with it. When you are getting better with your meditation practice, always your minds are in wholesome thoughts. You have beautiful thoughts, unharming thoughts. Peaceful thoughts. Now observe your mind, observe your body. Your body is relaxed, your mind is calm, tranquil and peaceful. Think to yourself, these many things that arise in my mind do not belong to me. When I think that they are mine to do as I wish, to cling to or to push away or to ignore, I generate enormous suffering in my life and in the life of others. May I continue to develop great regard, respect and kindness towards many contents in my mind and my body. May peace be with you. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. Thank you very much. Please open your eyes. Okay, I feel everybody is so far, but anyway, we are doing social distance, right? Everybody can hear me? Well, okay, good. I think if we are not meditating, we always inviting problems into our life. And also I saw not only inviting them, we like them. So we need some problems. So why I say that, other day somebody called me and he said he is trying to meditate, but he cannot meditate. I asked why he cannot meditate. Then he said meditation is so annoying. Then I asked him to explain to me why meditation is so annoying. When I do my meditation, nothing to do there. When I do my meditation, nothing to do there, is so boring. So then he said, I want to meditate, but I need something to do. Then I said, go and find a job. Then I said, if you want to do something, and so please go and find a job, or go and do the gardening, or clean the house, or you can do those things if you want to do something. So when you sit and meditate, you are not doing. Does make sense? When you do something every day, when you go to job, end of the day, how do you feel? Tired. After you clean the house, how do you feel? Tired. So whatever activities you are doing every day, end of the day you feel tired, you feel exhausted. So one of my other friend, she went for 10-day why? I am tired and exhausted. So then I realized, then she didn't do meditation. She worked there. Mentally or emotionally she worked so hard. So what I am suggesting you, when you are sitting and don't think you are doing some work, you are not doing, you are not working. So I love the word, what we are doing, we are observing our mind. And also I can add a little bit more into it, we are practicing, or we are silent observers, just sitting there observing. So if you cannot observe your mind, you cannot meditate. Then if you are trying to meditate, end of the meditation, you get exhausted. So then I explained to that person, so therefore nothing to do. Then he said, I don't like it, I need something to do. So now you can see, always you try to put this meditation practice into your conditioned lifestyle. There is nothing to compare with this practice, because it's unique to yourself. Don't compare with other people's practices, whatever other people do. It doesn't matter for you. Only thing, you are going inward and looking inside what is happening there. So when you are silently observing what is happening there, so we need loving kindness for that. Why is that? Why we need loving kindness? Lots of sun on my face. That's okay too. Why need loving kindness when you are meditating? Any thought?
Sometimes negative thoughts come up.
That's right. When we are practicing meditation, lots of negative thoughts will come. Lots of disturbing thoughts are coming. So when you have a disturbing thoughts, what is the reaction? When you have disturbing thoughts are coming, what is the reaction? Huh? Disturb. When you say disturb, go a little deeper. When you are disturbed, do you like it? When you say I don't like it, what is there? When you say I don't like it?
I think the word aversion.
Yes, aversion is there. Very simple word, everyday life. Huh? I, okay. What else? When you say I don't like it, so there is a little anger there. I am disappointed. So people say I am disappointed, but I am not angry. I think when you are disappointed, you are angry, because anger has a different levels. So what I am suggesting, when you are practicing meditation, all those disturbance and distraction and difficulties keep coming, why our life we live so many years based on those distractions. So when you are sitting and try to practice meditation, those disturbance and distraction keep coming to your mind. So two things people can do. One is give up. I don't want this crazy meditation. Other one, as I said, put little bit loving kindness to it. So then you can address it with love. That's okay. I am going to manage it. I am going to deal with love. So when you see disturbing, difficult thoughts happening in your mind, looking at them lovingly. So when you are looking at them lovingly, then you can manage them. When you are looking at them angrily, what will happen? It's become multiply. It's become double. So then people easily give up meditation. So as I said, when you are focusing on the breath, benefit you receive in the beginning of your meditation, you are calming your mind. That's very important. You are calming your mind. If you are not calming your mind, you cannot see the depth of your mind. Now think about, we have a pond down there. Can you see the bottom of the pond from here? Anybody can see the bottom of the pond? Why is that? It is muddy. It is murky. It is distracted. It is not clean. Our mind also exactly like that. Our mind is distracted. We can see depth of the mind. When you have a calm mind, the Buddhist analogy like a pond, we can penetrate, we can see the depth. So when you have a calm mind, you can see all the challenges and difficulties you are going through in your life, and also then you can see the causality, cause and effect. What is the cause? What is the effect? Where is the root of this problem? How I am going to take out this problem? So you can understand those things. So it's a beautiful story came to my mind. There was a monk. He was practicing every day. Whatever he does, whatever he doing every day as a meditation practice doesn't work for him. So when you are trying, when you are doing a job to get something, if it doesn't work, as I said, what is the next annoying thought come to your mind? Disappointment and anger. So then he was so disappointed. He is so disappointed. So one day, later he became a very famous teacher. So before I go to the next part of the story, I want to tell that famous teacher, he became very famous teacher. One day one of the students asked him, "You are a great master. You have lots of students in the world. So if you are behaving, if your quality is like that, maybe your teacher, he is a great man." So then the student asked, "Who is your teacher?" Then monk made a smile, came to his face. "My teacher is a dog. My master is a dog. How wonderful dog become your teacher." So then he said the story. "One day I was doing meditation every day. I am tired and exhausted. I don't see the benefit. I keep trying. I am putting my energy. It's become a big job. Finally, I was thinking, I am going to give up. I am going to give up. So after I give up, I was thinking I am going to walking around the nature. Then I walk around the nature and enjoying it. Then I saw big lake while I was walking. Then I was thinking, I want to go sit in front of that lake and just sit and enjoying my life there." So now he was sitting there enjoying his life. Then he felt he is so calm and peaceful. We all experience these days when you go to the nature, we experience that calmness. So while he was sitting in that calm state of mind without doing a job, like a meditation job, he saw a dog. Dog is walking by, but this dog is so thirsty. He was looking for water. Then what this dog did, now he wants to drink some water. Now he saw the lake. It's a sunny day like today. He walked to the lake and bent down to drink some water. When he bending down to drink some water, he saw the reflection of his own body. Why? Water is so clear. He saw the reflection of his own physical reflection. So when he see the reflection, dog got scared. There's another dog. He jumped back. But he wants to drink water. He's thirsty. Then he didn't give up. Now that monk is keep watching. This dog is trying to drink some water. Then he was bending again. Then he got scared. Then he jumped. Why? He see that another dog looking at me. Then he keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Finally, he couldn't drink some water. What happened with his thirst? He passed away. He died. So that moment, that monk watching in the calm state of mind what is happening to that dog, he said, that is the moment I attain to the enlightenment. Makes sense now? Because he gave up all his trying practice meditation. He was in the calm state of mind. Then he realized all the human beings, we have all the opportunities in life, like this big lake. But we are so scared to drink water. But now think about what happened to that monk. He gave up that doing his practice. He just be with him, observing his mind, using his senses. He was mindful. He was kind of silently observing what is happening. He saw what is happening to that dog. Then he realized, this dog is my teacher. Now you can see what will happen. No need to look for a teacher. You can be your own teacher. How about your dog can be your teacher? How great. Sometimes dogs are great teachers, right? They are teaching you being in the present moment. Be an observer. Sometimes they are calm. Sometimes they are quiet. You can learn from them. So what I am asking, don't have another job for you as a meditation, because you have enough jobs. What I am suggesting, now you are driving home after this class. So you can meditate. How you are going to meditate? You are waiting in a traffic light. Somebody behind in such a hurry honking. When somebody honk, sometimes you didn't do anything wrong. How do you feel? Angry. Why is honking me? Then people, that man is going very fast after the green light come. Then you are chasing that man. Then you go to this next light. Then you are pointing fingers. People doing that, I have seen it. So what I do, I am not pointing fingers. I go and bow to them. I do like this. Then what happened? They smile. And also when you are honking, be grateful. They are reminding me something. How wonderful they are reminding me. Or just for the funny side, maybe he just bought a new car. He is practicing how to honk. Change your perspective about it. So now you can meditate when you driving home, when you are at the work, whole your work environment turn into meditation practice. So what you are doing here, what we did in the park today, you didn't do meditation. This is cheating. It's not cheating actually. That's, don't worry about my words, okay? It's kind of, sitting there having a little fun and entertainment. So relaxed, so calming, beautiful nature, just enjoying it. But this is not real. This is not real. So therefore, meditation is not an entertainment. So if you want to entertain, you can play some music, you can dance. That's entertainment. But meditation is more deeper awareness in your mind to understand your own emotions, your own difficulties and challenges, middle of all those chaos. That's what practice is all about. But be careful, don't addict to your cushion. I'm always reminding, don't addict to your cushion. So in this country we have so many addicts. I can see new addicts in the spiritual community. I call the cushion addicts. It is most important for them sitting on the cushion. How long I sit, then you think I am better than Todd. I am sitting more time. Sometimes cats and dogs sitting on the cushion so many hours. So sitting on the cushion doesn't mean you are good meditation practitioner. So this is the training. So when you go home and driving, that is your practice. So therefore please differentiate training and practice. Training is very important. This time is really good for you all. Why? You want to listen to me, you want to practice with me, that's great. But after you are leaving this place, you are by yourself. Tomorrow morning when you go to work, you are by yourself. Can you bring the same, the energy into your workplace tomorrow?
What do you think is an appropriate amount of time to meditate?
So,
I usually meditate like a half an hour a day.
Okay. So Jason asking, what is the, the good time, the appropriate time to meditate. I am always reminding new people, can you find 2 minutes every day to sit down? If you are new to meditation, 2 minutes meditation. So long time ago when I was in Australia, after retreat I asked people, okay, now can you practice 1 hour every day? Everybody made their faces. Then that time I didn't have that many experience, how to tell things to people. So then I was thinking why they made the faces like, oh, I cannot do that. And so then next day when I do the retreat, I said after this retreat, my suggestion for you, how about go and practice 2 minutes? Then everybody is smiling and happy, they can find that 2 minutes. I know how to trick people. So when you do 2 minutes, short period of time, then you feel better. So when you do 2 minutes, then you can make 5 minutes. So when you do 5 minutes, it's become 10 minutes, it's become 1 hour. So when you do more practice every day, then you become timeless. So then when you go to the deeper practice, anywhere, any place, any situation, any whatever challenges you have in your life, you can practice meditation. So it's very interesting when you are doing this training and practicing every day and observing your own mind, whatever other distraction happening in the world doesn't matter. Now these days today actually somebody said to me, I keep watching news these days and I am angry myself. Then I am watching again, next day I am angry myself. Every day I am angry with the president or politics or whatever, I am always angry watching the news. Then she asked me, do you watch news? So when I go home, not here at the temple, when I go to my home, and so sometime once in a while I turn on the television, very rarely, to watch the news. So other day I was watching the news. I don't like it. I don't like that news. Exact like you, I don't like it. So then what I did, I was doing some computer work and same time watching news, right? So then I grabbed the remote controller. I'm going to turn it off. That's what I was thinking. Then I was thinking, no. If we are turning it off, mentally I am failing. No, I am going to watch it. So then I was so mindful. I watch it. I learn what is happening in the world, what people are telling and talking about. So then I was calm with it. Then I was thinking, I am doing a good job in the world helping people. Whatever other distraction happening in the world, that's not my problem. Why I am watching the news? To get update what is happening in the world. Otherwise, if people ask, do you know what happened in this country? If I say no, then people ask, where do you live? So I want to get all the updates. Now I am watching news once in a while, but I am not really distracting with that. So what I am asking you, live your life, watch TV if you want to, but don't attach those news or distraction or difficulties, and separate your life from those distractions. That's what happens when you do meditation. Otherwise, this world is crazy place for all of us. Make sense? Okay. Please observe your mind every day. Meditate 2 minutes. Don't attach to your cushion. Don't attach to the temple. Don't attach to the monks. Sometimes people attach to the teacher, attach to the place, attach to the tradition, attach to the country. So all are distraction anyway. So somebody recently asked me to come to California, but not right now. He said, I will arrange everything for you, please come. Then there was another person next to me. She was so mad. And she said, don't take our monk. He's our monk. Why you are taking our monk away? Then I said to that person, I'm not your monk. I am not belong to people. I am belong to the universe. I am not belong to even my mother anymore. My mother never say my monk. She knows it doesn't work for her anymore. But she has that emotional connection. But she never say, oh, you are my monk. So how my mother address me? This is how my mother address me, okay? My mother say, our monk. This makes sense? My monk and our monk is big difference. When she say, oh, our monk, that means that monk for everybody. In Sri Lanka, it's a very common way people are addressing monks called the our monk. They don't call the name. They call the our monk. Hey, maybe somebody meet the monk in the road. No connection to this person at all. Still we call the our monk. Why? Monks are universal. So therefore I am asking, when you are practicing meditation, you become a universal person. Then you have less distractions. Okay, this is enough, right? Okay. So thank you so much everybody for coming this evening. Please enjoy and now go and meditate. Okay, thank you.